Good evening. Good evening. My name is Jermaine Wack, and the chapter that I have for this chapter presentation is Chapter 5 Motivating Behaviors. One thing I have learned within studying this chapter, preparing for this presentation, that I can truly see myself in how I react in different forms of in the workplace, in my personal life, in different things that I accomplish and different things that I go through each and every day. So we're going to go ahead and get started in the presentation. So for the first slide, it says, what is motivation? The importance of motivation. Motivation can come in all different types. All different types of motivation, whether it's money, whether it's from family, whether it's from friends, any type of relationships that we have, we can receive motivation from it. Within this presentation, we're really focusing on organizational motivation. And organizational motivation can come from wages. We all can be motivated through money. Money is the answer to a lot of motivation that we are faced with in the organization. And what I have learned is when workers are, let's say, not motivated, money can help motivate them. And we can see that workers, they will reach that higher level through money. When we talk about raises on our jobs, we get happy, we get motivated. We say about how we love the job, how we're going to do better, how we're going to change up, how we're going to be on time. That's a motivation. That's motivating you to say, hey, I know I'm getting that 2% raise. I know I'm getting that 5% raise. I know I'm about to be supervisor. I'm motivated. I'm motivated because now I can see the fruit of my labor. I can see things. I have a different drive because I know I'm about to get this change. Motivation is change. Even when I was in my undergrad, I went through different things and I lost motivation. But the motivating part of me finishing undergrad was I want to have a bachelor's of arts degree in communications. I'm going to be placed at a different part of the tree. I always call it the tree because when you have a degree, you're set at a different type, you're set at a different level. You're at a different point than others who don't have a degree. Even with motivation, an employee will want to reach higher levels of performance. When you have motivation, you're going to achieve higher goals. You're going to set goals for yourself saying that, hey, I'm going to accomplish this because I'm motivated. I have something on this job that's going to motivate me to be better. I'm going to continue to strive for better because I know I have this motivation to be here. I have a motivation to make a difference in the world. So that's one important thing of motivation. You reach high levels of goals. You set goals that are high. You don't always settle. One thing that we always do, we always settle for less. And we shouldn't always settle for less, but we should have higher goals. And with motivation, you're gonna, as an employee, where you started out at the beginning, you don't want to end there when you retire or either when you get close to the end of a goal or you get close to the end of saying, I want to move on to another level of the organization. You set higher goals because you're motivated. You set higher goals because you want to be a better employee. Everybody wants to be great at something. So you're motivated, you have that motivation, you have that performance, you have that ability, and you have that environment. And when you have an environment full of motivation, it goes to the next thing. A relationship is formed. A relationship is formed, which in the textbook it says P equals M plus A plus E. P is for performance. M is for motivation. A is for ability. And E is for environment. When you have those four things, you're going to set, that's very important. You're going to feel like you're on top of the world. Your performance is going to change when you have great motivation. Your ability is going to change because you're going to push yourself to be better. You're going to push yourself to make that goal. When you have an environment full of motivation, it is awesome. You're on point. You are always looking to strive for better. You're looking for things to do to make yourself better, to make your organization better, to make your department better. You have those, when you have those four things, you have motivation. Let's move to the next slide. The next slide, early perspectives on motivation. And you can find this on page 162. So we're going to talk about the three approaches of motivation. The traditional approach. Frederick Taylor, he developed a strategic management method. In the text, it says scientific management means approach to motivation that assumes that employees are motivated by money. The traditional approach is money. When you go to apply for a job, the first thing you want to know, how much money I'm going to be making. You want to know what kind of wages am I going to get? What am I going to achieve here? What am I going to get? You're worrying about, at first, and we hate to admit it, we want to know how much money we're going to be making. We already got our personal calculator out, and we want to know, how am I going to economically grow? And it goes to money versus the approach of the job. Money versus approach of the job is the money that you make is the approach of the job to me. And what I mean is, if you're making good money, you're going to approach the job like you're making good money. If you're not making but so much money, you're not going to enjoy the job. You're going to approach it with a gripe, a complaint. You're not going to like the job. Money and money is the root of your approach. The amount of money that you're making is going to give your approach. The traditional approach, like I said, is the pay systems. Even in the text, it says that Taylor believed that managers knew more about the jobs being performed than did workers, and assumed that economic gain was the primary thing that motivated everyone. Yes, I feel like money is the primary thing that motivates everyone in organizations, because money is basically the root of the organization. The way that I look at it is, it's a motivation, it's a game, but then we can't always approach it that way. And we can look at it and we can move forward to the next approach, which is human relations approach. You can find this on page 163. It says, human relations approach suggests that fostering a false sense of employees' inclusion in decision-making will result in positive employee attitudes. We can look at the human relations approach as feelings. How an employee, feels, and how they approach the job, how they approach situations that are going on the job. Your feelings is important. How a worker feels is very important for an organization, because how that employee feels is basically more on to how that organization is going to be ran, how the public is going to see that organization, how things are going to be, how social needs. In the text, it says, feel useful and important that employees have strong social needs. Do your employers have a strong social need? Do your employees feel confident about being at your organization? What kind of behavior is the employees are given? So human relations approach is very important. Human resource approach is, it says, it assumes that people want to contribute and able to make genuine contributions to your organization. In the human resource approach, you will see that people, you will hope that people will give more contributions to the organization versus any other approach. The traditional approach focuses on money. Human relation approach focuses on feelings. But that human resource approach is more on, I want feedback from you all. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know what you're feeling. I want to know, give me some contributions where my contributions versus plus your contributions can make one contribution to make this organization grow. So we can see that in the 50s, it assumed that the contributions themselves are valuable to both individuals and organizations. Back then, it was more so of the manager's way or the highway. But now we kind of seeing organizations making a turn into the human resource approach and seeing that it's a two-way street now. It's a two-way street. It's a team thing. So oftentimes we always work for these organizations and they only put it towards what I say, what I think, what I feel. But the text is clearly showing us it's an encouraged participation in the human resource approach. It's encouraging participation between the management and the workers. It's important for management and workers to have that approach, to have that teamwork. Okay, let's move forward. So we're going to talk about need base on motivation. The hierarchy of needs. So we're going to travel over to page 165 and talk about the hierarchy of needs. We all know about the hierarchy of needs. Psychologist Abraham Maslow, he took part in creating the hierarchy of needs. He was a psychologist. He took part in creating the hierarchy of needs. It assumes that human needs are arranged in a hierarchy of importance. It is important for jobs to know the needs of workers. It's important for them to see its sets of needs its sets of needs for workers. We only see, a lot of times we only see one way, but it's always two ways. A lot of organizations only really focus on what management say, but that is not always the case. We also can see the need-based theories. The need-based theories assume that need deficiencies cause behavior. Needs are being in need, being in different situations are going to cause behaviors to change. It happens all the time. Behaviors are going to change. Things are going to happen. And it's important for management to see the behavior, to see keep that motivation, keep that drive within employees where they can see that, okay, John is over here changing. John needs some help, needs some guidance, needs some motivation. Let's try to see if we can put John somewhere where he can get that motivation back. Okay? Maslow's hierarchy of need categories. So let's talk more on the need categories of the hierarchy of needs. Self-actualization needs. Examples of that can be challenges. Every good worker likes a challenge. We all like a challenge. We all like to be challenged at some point in our career. We love achievement. Achievement falls under self-actualization needs. What self-achievement can workers gain? What self-achievement can they reach from the hierarchy of needs. Esteem. Some workers have low self-esteem, but we have to catch every worker and reward them based off their ability, based off of what they, not necessarily ability, but put status within those esteem needs. Esteem needs can even be job titles. In most organizations, I don't know what it is, but titles mean a lot. Titles just it means a lot. It's a self-esteem thing, and they just feel like if they don't have a certain job title, I can't motivate myself. I can't reach this goal. I mean, job titles means a lot for a lot of these organizations. Belongingness needs means creating friends, creating relationships at work. Relationships within an organization is very, very important, because when you have positive relationships, when you have positive mentors in place in your organization, you can see your organization grow. You can see stability. You can see togetherness within your organization, and it creates a security needs. The next need, which is security needs, stability. Every worker wants to feel secure. Every worker wants to feel like which they should feel like this, but they should feel like they matter. They should have some sense of, I'm safe here. And not only on the physical side, or not like, well, I'm safe where I know I have a job. I know I have a work family. I know I have a plan in place. I know I have people who are here looking out on the best interest for me. When you have security need, you will see motivation in your employer, in your employee. Your employee is going to feel very much motivated when they can feel the security. Psychological needs. Salary plays a big part in psychological needs. Most people, they will feel like they're going to lose it. It's not working if they don't have a certain salary. Think about things that would affect their mind. Think about things that they will feel like, I need to really, really hold on to this. I really need this because I have families. That's a part of psychological needs. Let's move on to learning-based perspectives on motivation. Reinforcement theories, social learning. Social learning behavior can come from the observing of others' behavior. When other employees see other fellow employees doing what they're supposed to do, they're going to feel, I want to learn that. They're going to feel, I need to change my behavior and follow this pattern because this pattern seems like it's working for that one. When they can see positive, then they can see when they can see growth comes from that behavior, they're going to want to learn that behavior. I want to change my sociality to that. I want to change my social skills to that because I want to grow in this company. Reinforcement theory is a function, but it has consequences behind the reinforcement theory. Reinforcement theory can also be one of those theories where you have to push yourself, where you may see things may be going wrong on the job. You may see motivation is not always there. You may see things going on where you be like, I don't know what am I going to do, how this is going to turn out. I'm motivated, but then again, I'm not motivated. What is going to happen if I choose to go with this route? You have to reinforce yourself and tell yourself, listen, I can do this. My behavior I have to change my behavior. So in order for me to be a good employee, I have to change my behavior. And no matter what the consequences is, I'm going to be okay. Back to social learning. On the slide I have, when people observe the behavior of others, when you see positive behavior, you're going to want to change. When you see things going right for the next person who's working beside you, you're not going to do exactly what they do, but you will change your behavior to a positive one that is something like it. You will change it and say, okay, I want that supervisor position. I have to change my behavior in front of my managers for them to see that I am serious. I'm serious about doing this. I'm serious about being motivated. I'm serious about being here at this organization. I'm serious about putting myself out so that way for the growth of this organization, the growth of my personal goal, the growth of me being in this career. And for the last slide, process-based perspectives on motivation. Process-based perspectives, you focus on how people behave in their efforts to satisfy their needs. Managers, when I was in management, I focused on how people behave in my department. I focused on how they react when I tell them to do something. I focused on how they react with the children. We have to focus on the efforts to satisfy their needs. How are we going to know what they need if we never know their behavior, their efforts, what they can do? How do we know? Equity theory, it focuses on desire to be treated. Treating our fellow employees right will go a long way. You will avoid all kinds of disasters. You will avoid all kinds of things going wrong in your organization. You will see that it's a difference. That as long as I challenge my staff, they're going to be okay. I wanted to read a portion of this. It says, equity theory is the most highly developed of the social comparison approaches and the one that applies most directly to the work motivation of people in organizations. We can see equity theory because it's mostly directed to the work motivation. Motivation is needed in the organization. We know that it's important, but it's much needed because once you have that work motivation in these organizations, it's going to be, your organization will flourish. Your organization will be better. Your organization will be at the top of whatever segment that you all are doing. It will even increase goal comparison. It will even increase how we achieve goals. We want to make sure that every theory of motivation is hit. Expectancy theory. Motivated by how much they want something, how much they're perceived on getting it. What are you doing to get it? What are you expecting in this organization? How are you going about reaching your goals? So oftentimes we go through different organizations and we never expect anything. If it's not no raise, we're not expecting it. But we should go out in our organization saying, hey, I'm being the best I can be. I'm motivated. I'm pushing myself. I'm looking to be better, and I'm expecting to be better. So, for the discussion question, when has your level of performance been directly affected by your motivation? How did you, what changed your motivation? Was it your ability that affect your motivation? Your environment affect your performance or your motivation? When has your level of performance been directly affected? We all have lost motivation some way down the road within our We have lost motivation within our careers, within our goals. But tell me a time when your level of performance has been directly affected by motivation. I thank you all for joining in, listening to my presentation. I hope that you gained something out of it, because I personally did. It made me want to change my behavior, because I work with DSS here in South Carolina. So tell me about a time when your level of performance has been directly affected. Hope you enjoy it, and have a great night.